Hi everyone, welcome to this weather update, transmitting from our National Weather Service office right here in Miami. I'm senior forecaster Tony Reines, and let's take a quick look, a quick overview about the extraordinary events that we saw today across the area. We started with 6 tornadoes touching down. So far, 5 were confirmed, 1 detected by radar, but we have enough information that we know there was enough debris on the ground, so we know it was there. We cannot rule out an isolated tornado for the rest of tonight, and we will continue to see bands of gusty showers moving across the area at least through Thursday morning. What happened today, and what can we expect for the rest of this event, this extraordinary event that we have seen today in the area? For more details, let's bring our Science and Operations Officer, Donald Harrigan. Donald, thank you for being with us. What can you tell us of what transpired here in South Florida? What else is next as Milton makes landfall? What can we expect?
Yeah, Tony, you and I know, 6 tornadoes is a lot. What people may not realize is some of the workload that goes into that. Our meteorologists issued 55 tornado warnings today, watching it from daybreak to sundown as the tornadoes moved across the region. It was certainly a historic event. But before we get to the tornadoes, let's talk a little bit about where Milton is, and where it's going to be moving as we head into the next 24 hours, right? So Milton has made landfall, forecast to move across the center of the state as a hurricane all the way across the center of the state, and then zip off into the Atlantic Ocean by Thursday afternoon. This was the landfall time, 8:30 p.m. Siesta Key. Egmont Channel up in the mouth of Tampa Bay gusted to 100 miles an hour at this time, so the winds are very strong in all this heavy convection that you see here, and as this moves ashore, those winds are going to be realized further inland. So, back to the tornadoes. 3 major ones happening at the same time. These are large supercells, stuff that you'd see out in the Midwest producing big tornadoes. And those big tornadoes were caught on camera. Take a look at this one here off Snake Road. And the reason for that, look where they went. They went right across major interstates, getting picked up on traffic cams, people in their vehicles taking pictures and videos and sending them to us. We really appreciate when we get that. It gives us ground truth. It helps us get the most accurate warnings out to you. So thank you for your help in this event. And we'll talk a little bit about the individual tornadoes here now. This started first thing this morning. This product just shows a little bit about where some rotation was based on the radar. And this first tornado was down near Florida City and Homestead early this morning, right around 5 o'clock in the morning. And then early morning into the afternoon, 2 very long track supercells that moved north, producing tornadoes. They were caught on webcams from I-75 west of Weston. It moved up through Clewiston and into Belglade, also off to the left side from the Miccosukee rest area across I-75 all the way up into Lakeport. And then Lakeport, unfortunately, had 2 tornadoes. They had another one later in the day, a separate storm altogether, that moved its way, short-lived, but still another tornado moved its way north. And then finally we ended the day with 2 tornadoes in Palm Beach County. The first one down here moved up over Loxahatchee. The second one was right up near the line for Palm Beach County, right across Highway 710. These tornadoes will all get surveyed, get rated, and we'll get that information out to you as soon as we can after we do those surveys. Right now, the focus shifts to the storm surge threat. This is the one we've been harping on for a long time as the hurricane has moved closer to us. 5 to 8 feet of storm surge is expected across the Collier County coast, 3 to 5 a little bit further to the south. And what's interesting, it wasn't that long ago that we dealt with Helene. There's the surge from Helene. We reached about 4 feet. At the Naples gauge here, this is Naples Bay, we're now, as of early this evening, over 5 feet, with high tide not coming until 4 o'clock in the morning. So here's where we are, the green line, the current time. There's the high tide around 4 o'clock in the morning. So the water levels won't necessarily continue just pile up, because we will get wind shifts as the storm moves across the state. But the water level is expected to continue to rise into that 5 to 8 foot range, and it may sit there for a little bit before that high tide cycle goes down later in the morning. So last look at the radar imagery across the region right now. As Tony said, there's these little bands of showers moving across. We could get gusts, 40, 50 miles an hour at times in these through the night. That could dislodge branches, especially in areas that experience a tornado and the infrastructure isn't that great. We could see some issues there. One last band moving offshore could be producing water spouts or tornadoes out over the water, but that doesn't really affect us for this time period at least. The main threat is going to be the storm surge, Tony.
So one last question before we let you go. After we saw all the people that has been affected, the people that had to deal with the aftermath of these tornadoes, all the Floridians that are now that are trying to survive this extraordinary event that has been Milton across Central Florida. What can you tell those people of how to deal with this situation? How can we start rebuilding a Thursday morning when everybody, when we are now back on the streets? How do we cope with this situation?
Yeah, it's a great question. It's really a terrible experience for anybody who had to deal with these tornadoes directly impacting their area. The best thing I can say at this point is while the tornado may be done, Milton's not quite done. And so tonight, let's not get too aggressive on getting out there and cleaning things up and returning to any site that has damage, because there's still going to be those gusty winds in those bands that could, again, dislodge any sort of debris that's around, could still result in collapse of structures that were really impacted by these tornadoes. So it's still dangerous out there, and it's better to wait for the daylight and when we start to see those winds subside to work on those recovery efforts as we head into Thursday afternoon and into the weekend.
Donald Harrigan, thank you very much for being with us.
Thanks, Tony.
And we don't want to go before reminding people that you can get the latest information in weather.gov/Miami, and please follow us on our platforms on Facebook and X. Thank you for being with us, and have a good night.